you wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already somewhere else. Your phone, your messages, your work, your money, the news, your future, someone else's success, something you said yesterday, and something that might happen tomorrow. The day hasn't even begun, and you're already exhausted. And here's the strange part. Most of the things consuming your mind are things you cannot control, yet you keep thinking about them. You replay conversations that are already over. You imagine problems that haven't happened. You worry about people who may not even be thinking about you. You open your phone for 5 minutes and somehow lose an hour. You go to bed tired, but your mind refuses to sleep because the world never stops talking. And somewhere along the way, you started believing that you had to listen to all of it. But 2,000 years ago, a man surrounded by war, politics, responsibility, and uncertainty understood something we seem to have forgotten. Peace does not come from making the world quieter. It comes from learning what deserves your attention. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and his philosophy offers something incredibly relevant to the modern mind. You cannot control the noise around you, but you can decide whether you let it live inside you. Look around you. You live in a world that competes for your attention from the moment you wake up. Notifications, emails, news alerts, advertisements, social media, messages, opinions, arguments, endless information. Someone is always telling you what to buy, what to fear, what to believe, what to become, and what you are supposedly missing. And the problem isn't technology. The problem isn't your phone. The problem is what happens when you stop choosing where your attention goes. Because attention is not infinite. Every time you give your attention to something, you give a small part of your life to it. Think about that. When you spend 30 minutes worrying about someone's opinion, those 30 minutes are gone. When you spend an hour scrolling through other people's lives, that hour is gone. When you spend an entire evening imagining everything that could go wrong, that evening is gone. You don't get it back. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world without smartphones, without social media, without 24-hour news, but he understood the fundamental problem. The human mind has always been vulnerable to distraction. The technology changed. Human nature didn't. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly returned to one of the most powerful ideas in Stoic philosophy: separate what belongs to you from what does not. It sounds simple, but imagine applying it to your life. Someone insults you. Do you control what they say? No. You control your response. Someone misunderstands you. Can you force them to understand? No. You can explain yourself, but their judgment belongs to them. You apply for a job. Can you guarantee that you'll get it? No. You can prepare. You can perform. You can improve. But the final decision belongs to someone else. The economy changes. The market falls. The news becomes frightening. Artificial intelligence changes your industry. People behave unpredictably. You cannot control any of these things, and yet, we often spend our greatest mental energy trying to control them. That is where exhaustion begins. The Stoic question is not, how do I make everything go my way? It is, what is actually mine to do? That question can change your entire day. Think about the last time you were anxious about the future. Maybe you thought, what if I lose my job? What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if something happens to my family? What if I never become successful? What if I'm wasting my life? Notice something. Your mind is trying to live in a future that does not exist yet. And because the future is uncertain, your mind fills the empty space with possibilities. Usually, the worst ones. This is how overthinking works. It gives you the illusion that you're preparing when you're actually suffering in advance. Marcus Aurelius faced enormous uncertainty. He couldn't predict wars. He couldn't control political enemies. He couldn't guarantee the future of Rome. But he could control what he did with the day in front of him. And that is the lesson. You don't need to solve your entire future tonight. You need to handle what is in front of you now. The next conversation, the next decision, the next hour, the next action. That is where your power exists. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. Here. You don't need to throw away your phone. You don't need to disappear into the mountains. You don't need to reject modern life. The deeper problem is much more subtle. You have to ask, who is deciding what deserves my attention? You or everyone else? Every notification creates a tiny demand. Look at me. Answer me. React to this. Watch this. Compare yourself to this, and if you respond to every demand, you eventually lose the ability to hear your own thoughts. That's why silence can feel uncomfortable. When the noise disappears, you finally hear yourself. And sometimes, that's exactly what we've been avoiding. So try something simple. Before opening your phone in the morning, ask yourself, what deserves my attention today? Not, what is everyone else doing? Not, what happened while I was asleep? Not, what am I missing? But, what actually matters? Because if you don't choose your priorities, the world will choose them for you. There is another kind of noise, and it may be even louder, other people's opinions. You post something, you wait for reactions, someone doesn't respond, you wonder why, someone criticizes you, you replay their words all night, someone succeeds, you compare yourself, someone appears happier, you question your own life, and suddenly, you're living inside a courtroom, constantly judging yourself through the imagined eyes of other people. But here's the truth. You don't actually know what other people think, and even if you did, you couldn't control it. Marcus Aurelius understood that your character belongs to you. Other people's judgments belong to them. So let them judge. Let them misunderstand. Let them disagree. Your responsibility is not to control the minds of other people. Your responsibility is to control the quality of your own mind, because the moment you stop needing everyone to approve of you, you become free to actually live. So what do you do when the noise returns? Because it will. Tomorrow morning, your phone will still be there. The news will still be there. Problems will still exist. People will still disappoint you. Your mind will still produce fearful thoughts. The goal isn't to eliminate all of that. The goal is to stop allowing it to control you. So when you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself 4 questions. First, what exactly am I worried about? Name it. Don't let the fear remain vague. Second, is this within my control? If yes, act. If no, release it. Third, what is the smallest useful action I can take right now? Not tomorrow, not next month, right now. And finally, ask, does this deserve more of my attention? That last question is powerful, because attention is life. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Maybe this is the part we need to accept. The world is not going to become quiet for you. There will always be another headline, another problem, another opinion, another deadline, another uncertainty, another person who doesn't understand you, another reason to worry. Waiting for the world to become peaceful before you become peaceful is a losing strategy. Marcus Aurelius didn't have a peaceful life. He had responsibility, pressure, conflict, loss, uncertainty. Yet he understood that inner stability could not depend entirely on external circumstances. And that is the distinction between a peaceful life and a peaceful mind. A peaceful life depends on what happens. A peaceful mind depends on how you meet what happens. You don't need a perfect life. You need a mind that knows what belongs to it. So tonight, before you sleep, put the phone down. Let the world continue without you for a moment. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to predict everything. You don't need everyone to understand you. And you certainly don't need to carry tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. Ask yourself, what is mine to control? What is not? What deserves my attention? And what can I finally let go? Because peace is not the absence of noise. Peace is the ability to remain yourself while the noise continues. The world will keep moving. People will keep talking. Technology will keep changing. The future will remain uncertain. But you can become still. Not because the world became quieter, but because you stopped giving every sound permission to enter your mind. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius wrote for a world that no longer exists. And yet, his greatest lesson may be more relevant today than ever. You cannot control the world around you, but you can choose what you allow to control you. So quiet the noise, return to what matters, and take back your mind.